And what's going on YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn Live? It's Coach Rowe. Today is Wednesday. I'd like to welcome you to the first row. And if it is Wednesday, you should already know what that means. It's time for the Wednesday word. That's Wednesday word. Jumping straight into it. Tonight's topic is building opportunity. As always, I like to share what I mean by my topic. On this first row Wednesday word premiere, what do I mean by the topic building opportunity? What I truly mean is how we create the circumstances that attracts opportunity into our life. And honestly, opportunity in this sense can be good opportunity or sometimes bad opportunity, or we'll just call them bad opportunities. So as always, tonight I have three tools for the first row that I want to share with you in regarding to building opportunity. So let's jump straight into it. Tool number one when it comes to building opportunity is acquire the right supplies. So when I started thinking about this aspect of building, I think construction, and I think about how you need to have concrete, you need to have wood, you need to have steel, you need to have nails, you need to have nuts, you need to have bolts. There's a lot of things that you need when you are building something. And in the aspect of creating opportunities or building opportunities in our lives, the right supplies are education. Now, I don't mean education in the sense of institutionalized education, though that can be an aspect of the education that you glean. You need like a holistic approach to education. So you might have academia where you're going to school, you're going to college, and you're learning about an aspect, but you have real world on the job experience. And then you might just have some other experiences that bleed into what it may be, maybe the opportunity that you're attempting to build. And so when I say acquiring the right supplies, what it's almost like is if you go into baking. Baking is like almost scientific. You have to have the right ratios of each ingredient to get the end result or get the product that you want. And so when you think about if you're trying to build an opportunity, hopefully if you're attempting to build an opportunity, you're attempting to build a healthy, positive, good opportunity for yourself, not something that's negative, distracting, and bad for your life. So if you're attempting to build a healthy opportunity for yourself, you're going to need the right ingredients. And part of that is truly looking at the experiences that you're having in your life. So where I might need for a cake, flour, sugar, baking soda, eggs, milk, or whatever to make that cake, in building an opportunity in my own life, I might need the right education. I might not need specific education, but I might need to go to a trade school. I might need a mentor. I might need to take up a hobby that allows me to practice a craft that's going to work into the opportunity that I'm attempting to build. But where do we get these opportunities from other than academia? We get these opportunities, honestly, from every single experience that we have. And so when I say acquire the right supplies, what I'm really saying is hone in every experience, hone in on the opportunities that you have to glean information from that experience, to glean lessons from that experience that can later be applied to an opportunity. See, I think sometimes what happens is when we are so anxious and have this desire to rush out and go to the next opportunity and the next opportunity, the next opportunity, sometimes we arrive at these opportunities ill-equipped because we don't have a hammer, we don't have a screwdriver, we don't have tape, we don't have food, we don't have the things or the experiences and lessons that we need in order to truly execute in the opportunity that we're attempting to build. So even if we do arrive at that opportunity, what ends up happening is because we don't have those right supplies, that opportunity typically fails, or we get frustrated and discouraged and abandon that opportunity, saying, that wasn't the right opportunity for me. No, it was the right opportunity. It could have been the right opportunity for us, but because we've arrived in a space where we don't have all the supplies that we need, that frustration can sometimes cause us to quit or cause us to give up. So that's tool number one, really thinking about what do you need and how you're going to create and build this opportunity, what supplies you need to build it, and also what things you're going to need when you get there. And again, that is literally gleaning everything that you can out of every experience that you have. Tool number two, let's move forward. This is going to be a really quick Wednesday word premiere, just so you know. But tool number two, when it comes to, building opportunity, is create a reputation. Now, here's the trick to tool number two, is that no matter whether you are intentionally attempting to create a reputation or unintentionally attempting to create a reputation, you are always creating a reputation. I love the fact that I have First Row. First Row uses my name. And from a very young age, like elementary school, maybe even preschool, I was really big on introducing myself. My name is Billy Rowe. And I would introduce myself almost as if I was a brand name, because in my mind, I am the brand. My brand is Billy Rowe, who I am. And so every interaction that people have with me is an interaction with that brand of Billy Rowe. So I love having the First Row that utilizes and incorporates my name, because it's like, hey, this is my reputation. That same person that people knew growing up as Billy Rowe, though I mean, I've changed, matured, and hopefully improved as a human being. That same person they knew back then is now attached to the brand that I have today, First Row. And so creating a reputation is really important when you're building an opportunity, because even in the sense of us building our own opportunities, we never build them alone. We never build them alone. It is never an isolated opportunity that we built on our own. I always listen to the self-made people that, oh, I'm self-made. I pulled myself up from the bootstraps. It is physically impossible to pull yourself up. You can't pull yourself up in the sense of, I'm just going to pull myself up I think they call them by the bootstraps. So I'm just going to pull myself up by the bootstraps. It's impossible to do that. If I'm laying on the ground and I pull my bootstraps, my body doesn't go upright. And when I think about the importance of creating a reputation, it is because our reputation truly, after we get past the people that we know us, that love us, that care about us, that interact with us, our reputation truly precedes our introduction. So people, when they get that reputation of you, and sometimes, unfortunately, it's a really quick. That's why they say first impressions are so important. Sometimes they don't have anybody who's giving them information like, hey, Billy's a nice guy. You want to hang out with him. He's pretty cool people, easy going. They don't have that. So their first introduction with you creates a story for that person who's interacting with you. The reputation that we have when it comes to opportunities, it goes into the rooms that we are never even in. It talks to people that we may never come into contact with when you have a good reputation. Now, many of us know people who have bad reputations. I think we all know somebody who has a bad reputation. And if you don't, you might be the somebody. So you might want to work on your reputation. But the people that we know who have bad reputations in our life, think about if somebody came to you and they were like, hey, look, I need a hard worker who can fix this roof that I'm working on. And you knew somebody who knew how to fix roofs, but they had a bad reputation about not showing up, not completing work, taking money and running. That reputation is going to precede them. And you're not going to be like, hey, look, well, I know somebody who can fix your roof, but they're not reliable. They might steal and take your money from you and never show back up. They might do a shoddy job. Like, you're not going to recommend that person. And when it comes to building opportunity, it's really important to have a brand that people will rave about, that you have fans in your brand, because those are the people who are going to be your cheerleaders and putting your products, your services, your names in rooms that you would never have the key to get into. And so when it comes to building that opportunity, it's really important to be intentional that the brand you're building is a positive brand, or positive reputation that you're building is a positive reputation and not a negative reputation, because that reputation, if it is negative, can actually, rather than opening doors for you that would not have been open for you, it can actually close doors that would have been open for you otherwise. The other thing about this, is you can kind of determine what your reputation is. If you have a trusted circle, I have a trusted tribe, so I can go to my trusted tribe and ask them, hey, how am I operating in this? And especially being on like YouTube and having an inspirational platform, having a book and things of that nature, I'm constantly pulling feedback, and I'm pulling feedback from people who are not just going to be like, oh, you're doing great, you're doing wonderful. They're the people who are also going to tell me, hey, this is what you did here, and you could have done this better. And it's not just that it's criticism in the sense of they're trying to come down on me or make me feel less than. It's like, hey, They want to see me win. They want to see me improve. They want to see that as I'm building towards the opportunities that I'm working towards, that I'm setting myself up for maximum success and not maximum failure. So that's tool number 2 when it comes to building opportunity, is create a reputation. But really it should say create a positive reputation, because at all times you are creating a reputation. And then finally, when it comes to the last tool, tool number 3 for building opportunity, it really comes down to zooming out from time to time. Take time to zoom out from time to time. Sometimes in life we get so engulfed with just doing that we lose track of our purpose for doing. And it's really, I can't stress enough, it's really easy to do this, because I was thinking the other day, as I reflect a lot, and I was thinking while I was doing some reflection about, I can't remember how old I think I was like 18 or 19 years old. And I remember having this job, and the job paid $19 an hour. Now, $19 an hour at that point in my life was like the most I had been paid on an hourly basis ever. And I remember thinking, like, my mom was proud of me. My dad was proud of me. Man, you got a good paying job. And I started thinking about, oh man, I could have made a career here. I could have done this. I could have done that. And then I ended up losing the job because I didn't have work ethic like I do today. And it was so interesting, because as I'm reflecting about this, I was like, I'm thinking, going back to tool number 1, acquire the right supplies. I'm thinking about the experience of losing a job at $19 an hour and what I needed to learn from that experience, rather than just be like, oh man, I lost a good paying job. I'm never going to make that kind of money ever again. Woe is me, and going into victim mode and never learning anything. It was like, no, let's see what lessons we can glean from that. And again, I'm 41 years old now, so I'm 20 years removed from this experience, but I still take the time to zoom out, not just from the current projects that I'm working on, but zoom out from my life as a whole and look at where I'm at today. But I'm thinking about how sometimes, again, we get so busy doing when we're zoomed in and focused that it's like, man, this $19 an hour job is where it's at, and I'm going to stay here. And so we begin to start making good money, and then we forget our purpose and we don't question our path. And then we begin to drive a nice car. So I'm making good money and I drive a nice car, and so now I don't question my purpose, and I don't question the path. Now I got a nice car, nice house, nice job. I don't question the purpose. I don't question the path. We are actually in a space where zooming out helps us not only build opportunities, but helps us in understanding where the opportunity is going before we get there. Sometimes what happens is again, we're so busy doing that we forget our purpose, and we're so busy doing that we forget our trajectory. I think about if we were in a backyard and we were laying garden pavers, big stones for people to walk on a path through the grass. If we're laying these garden pavers and we're just focused on one paver at a time, and we never look up to see where we're going, our path could be crooked. Our path could not go to the place that we wanted the path to go to. Our path could just run into the fence and be like, well, that's cool that you can walk across the grass on these stones into the fence. And even in writing this Wednesday word, thinking about that, I only thought about the path veering off course. Well, when you got to repair the path, if you're still trying to build the same opportunity, now you got to pick up those stones. But even when you pick up those stones, you sometimes created damage to your lawn that now you got to take time to repair the damage that you created in placing the stone in the wrong location. So zooming out from time to time is really about being intentional that you are building an opportunity and understanding what opportunity you're building to, or going back to an old Wednesday word, understand the blueprint that you're building to, but zooming out to make sure that the house is coming together the way that you want that house or that structure to come together. Zooming out to see that the opportunity is coming together in the manner that you want it to come together. And that doesn't mean that you're going to know every aspect about it. It doesn't mean that you're going to have everything down to a science and this is symmetrically correct and all. It doesn't mean any of that. But what it does mean is that by taking those moments and zooming out and seeing your opportunity that's being built from a bird's eye view, it will allow you to catch if you are veering off course. It will allow you to catch, oh, wait, that's a mistake. Hey, that's backwards. Hey, this is not right. Hey, this needs to be fixed. Hey, you know what? And zooming out, now I can see that up here, I need to add another component of education. I need to acquire another supply that I don't have yet. Let me go ahead and acquire that now. So that way, when I get there, I don't have to stop to get it. Or do I want to stop to get it when I get there? These are all things that zooming out allows you to do. In economics, they talk about the macro and the macro being the large picture, the micro being the small picture, the details. It's so easy to get caught up in the details, but sometimes if that's all you're caught up in, you'll never see the full picture. And unfortunately, the projects that you're working on to build opportunities for, those opportunities can you can miss out on those opportunities because you're so caught up in the weeds that you can't see the forest. Or they say you so caught up in the trees that you can't see the forest. So that's what I have for you. Really quick to go over to the 3 tools for tonight's Wednesday word. Tool number 1 when it comes to building opportunity is acquire the right supplies. You don't want to build an opportunity that is missing critical components. It's not stable, and eventually it would either collapse or it's just not going to be fulfilling. It's going to be frustrating. Tool number 2 is create a reputation. We are always creating a reputation. Please remember, you're always creating a reputation. The question is whether that reputation you're creating is good or bad. If you're being intentional about your reputation and you're not trying to be a bad boy or a bad girl or whatever the bad adjective you want to use, if you're not doing that, then you should be working towards a good, healthy reputation. And then tool number 3 is zoom out from time to time. Take a look at your opportunity that you're building from a bird's eye view to ensure that you're not veering off course, to be able to see things that you may need in the future, and truly, honestly, to make sure that you put yourself in the best position to seize the opportunity that you're trying to build when it comes time to build it. So that's what I got for you guys tonight. As always with the Wednesday word, I like to share a personal story, something that got me thinking about this particular topic, about building opportunities. And I'm in this space in life right now where I am in the process of building my next opportunity. And in being in this space, it's really interesting to look at the things that are taking place around building this next opportunity. So I started thinking about all the times in life where I have been hired for a job. And I don't even want to talk about how many jobs. I've had a lot of jobs when I was younger and immature and didn't know how to keep a job. In the past 3 years, our past decade and a half, I've probably had 3 jobs. But in the jobs that I was hired for, I was always hired because I typically knew someone. I think there was maybe 2 jobs where I didn't know the person going in and got the job. But all the other jobs have been based on, honestly, my reputation with people and my network. And where I started thinking about building opportunity was that network component, thinking that I was using networking to get jobs. But what I really found out in building the opportunity is what caused me to improve and start having longevity in companies and actually promoting within companies. What created that was understanding how I was building opportunities, understanding what key components I needed to bring to the next level, understanding how to articulate my experience. And recently in building an opportunity, I was asked in an interview because I was interviewing for a position, and I was asked about my educational background. And this is where this topic really began to resonate. But I was asked about my educational background. Hey, what's your educational background? And I was like, oh, I'm a high school graduate. And they were like, wait a minute. They didn't stop, and they weren't like rude or anything. They're just like, oh, like, wow. And I stopped and I thought about that response that I gave. And I was like, I've thought about going to college. I've thought about going to higher education and getting a degree. I've thought about a lot of things. I was like, but here's what I've kind of come to the conclusion of. Because of that aspect of acquiring the right supplies, though the traditional route is going to get education to do the profession in which I work. I'm in analytics. Education is typically the traditional route you would take to do analytics. I became really hyper focused on the experiences that I had, even outside of the workplace, that allowed me to perform analysis, that allowed me to look at numbers, that allowed me to look at percentages, that allowed me to create formulas. I started being hyper focused on that. So a lot of the experiences that I probably would have experienced in college, whether it was doing college's homework assignments, projects, working with teams and stuff like that, a lot of those experiences I experienced or gleaned a lot of those lessons from my own personal experiences. Also, I'm an avid reader. I'm a person who likes to read and learn new things, at least things that I'm interested in, I like to learn about. So I have no problem picking up a book, learning and applying those things in an environment, whether it's in my personal laptop or in a work environment, if I have the opportunity to apply those things in the work environment. But I started thinking about this in the fact of where I'm at now in my career, 10 years, well, over 10 years later in my career as an analyst, and how I am now currently building towards my next opportunity, how I am intentional about what I've learned in this 10-year plus journey of analytics and how I can apply in that information and that education to the next roles that I take on in my life. I've even used this same aspect in writing the book Fire Your Job, Hire Your Passion, where I'm looking at all of my life experiences and looking at, even as an analyst, like, man, as an analyst, I want to analyze my own life and really understand why I'm making the decisions that I'm making, why I have made the decisions that I made, why I stopped making bad decisions, and why I've made more good decisions at this point in my life. I'm looking at all those things through an analytical lens and a very personal lens, because it's my life that I'm looking at. And now I'm able to articulate that and share that story in the book, those stories, not just one story, but those stories in the book, to help other people begin to expand their minds to reflect and meditate on their own experiences. So that's really what this building opportunity is about. It's about understanding how you not only got to where you are today, but understanding how you're going to build to the next level for tomorrow and what that looks like. And I cannot stress enough being able to have those moments where I zoom out and say, okay, I make really good money now. I have a couple of investments and a couple of assets now, but zooming out and saying, but where am I going? And what do I want next for me is allowing me to build the next opportunities that I want. Even to the extent of last year purchasing a rental where, there's a lot of uncertainty in the market. And I was like, yeah, there is a lot of uncertainty in the market, but if I'm going to be renting this place out, I'm not so concerned about the uncertainty because there's cash flow in the rental, and that's the purpose of the rental. So having those moments where I zoom out, having those moments where I zoom back in and focus, honestly helped me in gleaning as much experience as I can from my experiences, making sure I have the right supplies to stay on track, making sure my reputation is in step with where I want to go, and then being able to zoom back in to get right back to work. So I guess that would be a bonus tool for tonight, is after you zoom out from time to time, zoom back in, get refocused, and get back to work. So that's what I got for you guys tonight on the Wednesday Word. Again, this is the Wednesday Word premiere. So thank you guys for tuning in. I apologize. I actually had something that came up in my own personal schedule where I wasn't able to be live tonight, but I wanted to make sure that I got this to you guys for Wednesday, for the Wednesday Word. Other than that, the upcoming things that I want you to, sorry about that. Upcoming shows that I want you to be aware of is next Tuesday. We will have Carolyn Michelle and Billy Rowe live. And I believe also next week, Carolyn Michelle, The Grind Defined, comes back online. I think it's next week that it comes back online for The Grind Defined. So you can get that. And then you'll obviously Tuesdays, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern. You can catch Carolyn Michelle and Billy Rowe live. We have a bunch of topics for you guys for this season, so I hope you guys are enjoying them. If you have not watched all of them, catch up, because we refer back to some shows sometimes, and I just want you guys to all be in the know. But other than that, I appreciate you guys rocking with this premiere. As always, if you like this video, share it. If you share it, like it. I love engaging with you guys in the live chat. If I'm here on the live, I will happily engage with you. If I'm not, I'll engage with any comment that you leave on the replay. But other than that, thank you guys for your time. Until the next time, this is Coach Rowe signing off. One love, peace, and God bless.